I'm sorry. Why you know I'm doing this?
Doing friends.
Wow. No class ever has gotten it out of the way this early.
Kind of smart.
But you still gonna stay for the meeting.
I'll send you the picture so you can send me your class.
Okay.
She said she was about 3 minutes out, but I told her I couldn't guarantee that you could wait that long. He's a part of Leadership Lounge, the young man that's there. Yes, sir.
This is Shar.
I'll now call to order the January 22nd, 2026 meeting of Mayor and Council. I'm honored to call on Bishop Felicia Williams from Hosanna Cathedral Hope Church to lead us in prayer. Please remain standing for the pledge. That's all you.
Good evening. Let us bow our heads in a word of prayer. Eternal and gracious God, it is again that we are so grateful that you have allowed us to come before your throne of grace and mercy just to tell you thank you. Father God, thank you for the miracle at the emergency room for my husband on this afternoon. And you allowed me to come to this place just to say thank you. God, I thank you for giving us the opportunity to serve this great city of Valdosta. I ask that you touch everyone in the building, whatever blessing that they need, God. Meet them at their point of need. Touch the council on today. Give them wisdom, knowledge, and understanding how to handle the business of your people. God, touch the mayor. Give him what he needs to lead us in the way that we should go. God, we thank you again for this capacity to serve you and your people. It is in the matchless name of Jesus we do pray. Let every heart say amen. 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 And amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bishop, thank you. I would also like to second her sentiment as the fantastic people at SGMC and the ER took fantastic care of my wife for 4 hours today. They are absolutely an awesome bunch. They truly are. All right, they kind of got recognized once, but I'm going to officially recognize them again. With the class of 2026 from Leadership Lounge, please stand. Part of their class requirement is they take in a council meeting during their program year and a county commission meeting during their program year. Never before have I seen that many all at once, so I think they've been talking to each other at some point. Thank you, and good luck this year. All right, awards and presentations. We're going to get a presentation by Dr. Lucy Green on Moody support. Dr. Green, if you would like to come forward and lower the microphone, we'd love to hear from you.
I asked to come because I wanted to say thank you to you for all you've done for Moody support since I've been involved, which is 1970. I was only 5, you know. Okay, but air power, without air power, you lose. So we keep that in mind all the time. All right, now, at Moody, every little squadron, every little group, every wing has a cheer. So I think tonight we need a cheer. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'll say, we have Flying Tigers at Moody, you know, and Moody is the lead wing in a new Air Force organization called Agile Combat Employment, ACE. So we have been designated a lead wing. So what we have from that is that Tigers lead. All right, so if I say to you, who leads, what would you say?
Tigers lead.
I'll do that again. Who leads?
Tigers lead.
There you go. Now we're ready. All right, thank you. No, I came because I want you to realize that you make everything possible for Moody support. And we're going to walk through that little handout in just a few minutes, but I wanted to bring you up to date. I want to thank you for the opportunity to express this gratitude. I'll try not to take too much of your time, but I've been working with Moody support a while, so it's going to take me a little bit to get you up to date. So I just brought a few notes So I won't forget anything. All right, so I'll keep these handy. You know, Moody has been here since World War II and served to train pilots in very critical times in World War II. And then when the war was over, Moody was closed. But it was reopened in 1951. And as a matter of fact, this May 10th is going to be the 75th anniversary of the reopening of Moody Air Force Base. So now you have a new fact, May 10th, all right? But your support, representing all the citizens of Valdosta and Lowndes County, all those years, has made this possible. You know, certain people work with Moody, and you set up different groups that work with Moody, but your support is absolutely essential and critical. And I want you to realize that it's not me, it's not any one person, it's all of us who take care of Moody Air Force Base. So thank you. We have 2 Moody missionaries on the council. Our Moody missionaries are those who have been at Moody and then have gone out into the big world. So we got McNeil and we've got Howard, who retired from Moody, McIntyre and Howard. These are our Moody missionaries right here. All right, a cheer for them. All right, when we started thinking about how to support Moody Air Force Base, when we came here in 1970, Johnny V. Lastinger asked Parker to head the Military Affairs Committee of the Chamber of Commerce. And this was a group that was part of the chamber and took care of Moody. At that time, we were a training base, and his responsibilities included red carpet, which is a welcoming party for those new to Moody. And those parties were held every 6 weeks, as we had a class graduating and a new one coming in every 6 weeks. They would be here for a year, then they would graduate. But a new class followed them every time. So we were in close contact with Moody. So we became involved and in love with the whole situation. And so in 1991, when Moody faced closure under the BRAC, the city and county decided that they needed to have something that was separate from the chamber, something that was absolutely devoted to the care of Moody Air Force Base. And so the Moody Support Organization was established, funded by the city and the county. And at that time, Parker was asked to be executive director because he had been so involved previously. I served as his administrative assistant by marriage, and took care of all his correspondence and took notes in Washington when we went to meetings. You know how that goes. Okay, so I kind of got it by osmosis. So then when Parker passed away in 2018, the city and county asked me to continue with the support group. And so I have done that in the position of a consultant because I did not want to take the title of executive director. So far, up until now, Parker has been the only executive director of Moody Support. But tonight you have with us John Eunice, who has now accepted the position as executive director. And I'm thinking that his lovely wife, Tammy, is going to get involved as well. Would you stand up, John? I do feel that there's something providential to this because good Lord kept me going until now. And John has retired after 27 years in the Air Force as a civil engineer, and then 20 years in the civilian position as deputy civil engineer at Moody. So he knows so much about what we're going to need to be doing to get ready for the F-35. Much building is going to have to be done. And he's the man, okay, the right man in the right place at the right time. So we are moving forward, looking to the future. I will stay because I have a connection to the Chief of Staff of the Air Force on his civic leader group, and that's an Air Force appointed position that I cannot transfer. So I will stay as a consultant, but I promise, John, I'm going to keep my suggestions in one pocket and my opinions in another, and they won't come out until you ask. Now, the base, Moody Air Force Base is in great shape. We are in a good place. We have a new mission coming our way. And so you need to realize that he has also had a hand in that through all the years. The only two structures on Moody Air Force Base that are left over from World War II are the Heritage Hall, which was preserved deliberately, and the water tower. Every other building is new. Every other facility is new. So that's really something to be proud of. And our current Chief of Staff, General Wilsbach, has called us to feel that our Air Force bases are the places from which we project power. The Air Force projects power from its bases, just like the Navy projects power from its ships. So we can be proud of the fact that we have an up-to-date, well-running Air Force base, and that's what we need to keep going. We have many community and Air Force projects that are in place at Moody now. The county and the city and Moody are doing many joint projects, and John has been involved in all of these, the golf course, the joint fire department functioning, and additional water resources. I really have a hard time giving up this position. I'm not giving up consultant, but it's hard to pass the torch. But even though in my mind I'm only 45, this past summer it began to be obvious to me that maybe I was not really 45. So I talked to the city and county, and we worked together. We've been making this transition all through this year, beginning in September, and so I think we're now on a good path. The right man in the right place at the right time. And so we'll move on. Now, I wanted you to look at that little handout that I gave you, and I'll give you a little thumbnail sketch of Moody. It's the green paper. Moody has, right now, the 23rd Rescue Wing, the Flying Tigers, under Colonel Sean Hall. This has the Fighter Squadron, which is now the A-10s, will become the F-35. We have the Fighter Squadron. Then we have Rescue. Rescue is our mission. So we have the C-130 Squadron, we have the Whiskey Helicopter Squadron, and the Parachute Jumpers, the PJs. So that's your rescue component. Then we have another wing, which is the Air Ground Operations Wing. This is the battle management setup, and there are only 2 of those in the entire Air Force. We have one, the other's in Germany. And our Colonel Blocher, who is our colonel over the 93rd, has his airmen at 20 different locations across the country. And they are embedded many times with Army units because they're the ones who call in the strikes. And so that's really a primary mission that we want to keep. They're on the other side of the runways at Moody. But it's just as powerful. They call themselves a tenant, but the AGAL is the 93rd Wing, and that's the way we try to talk about it, the 23rd Wing and the 93rd Wing. We have 2. All right, under the 93rd Wing, we also have the Base Defense Group, and they are the troops that guard the bases overseas. And one of their mottos is, we guard the nest so the birds can fly. But that's what they do. They go outside the wire. They're young, they're energetic, they're tough. It's airmen on the ground. So that's a unit that is always gone. There are 3 active squadrons that go to guard bases, and the combatant commanders always are asking for them. So they rotate in and out. and they're with us. We have them now in the Southern Hemisphere, not knowing exactly where. We have them in the Middle East, not knowing exactly where. We have them in Africa, not knowing exactly where. Moody is always deployed. They want our resources. And so the thing we need to do is guard our base, keep our base, and guard our mission. And you don't look for a brat anymore now, but you do look for movement of your equipment. We don't want anything moving out, and we want everything moving in. So we keep an eye on that and we track it. Now look at the Moody support team is made up of Chairman Bill Slaughter and Manager Paige Dukes from Lowndes County, Mayor Scott Matheson, and Interim Manager Al Crace from Valdosta City. We have Colonel Retired John Eunice, who is the new Executive Director, myself, A.D. Holt, Bill Cowart, and Larry Hanson are 3 original members of the Moody support. They were there in '91 when this was organized. Tim Keller and Chuck Steele are Air Force appointed members of the ACC Commanders Group. And John Gale, former mayor, serves sort of ex officio, but he is still part of the group. We kept Mark Barber, who was a former city manager here, and he's now in Adel, so we stay in touch with Mark as well. Tim Carroll, who is on your council, who is the chairman of the South Georgia Military Affairs Committee of the Chamber of Commerce. And so that gives us that connection there. And thank you, Tim, for that. Then we have Dan Deaver, Randy Cruz, and Colonel Retired Sam Milam at large working with Moody support. So that's our team. And so John moves in with a good team of support as we make this transition. Moody has been under several major commands. Right now we're under Air Combat Command. We've been previously under Air Training Command and Tactical Air Command and Air Force Special Ops. And then we've also had units from Air Education Training Command on several occasions. And I want to remind you that our missionaries go out into the world and they have done some great things. I've given these people a list of some of our Moody missionaries and things that have been achieved by them. And so I'd like to just read through that. General Joe Ralston was a captain here and became Supreme Allied Commander in Europe. General Mark Welch was Director of Operations here. He became Air Force Chief of Staff and then went on to be President of Texas A&M. Chief Gerald Murray was our Command Chief, and he went on to be Command Chief of the entire Air Force. General Jack Gregory was a PACAF Commander, and then General Gene Renouart was PACAF Commander and then took NORAD and NORTHCOM. So Moody influences the world. And I want you to remember that you never know when you have these airmen coming, you never know how far their reach is going to be. So they take you with them. You know, the impression that you make on these airmen goes with them into these serious jobs that they have in the defense operation. So I want you to think about it. It's a treasure, really. Then we have General John Rosa, who was our wing commander, and he became the U.S. Air Force spokesman at the Pentagon. He then became superintendent of students at the Air Force Academy, and then finally was president of the Citadel. Lieutenant General Jennifer Short, who was recently here, made Lieutenant General, that's 3 stars, all right? And she was a special advisor to the previous Secretary of the Air Force. We had Chief Rick Parsons, who went on to become 9th Air Force Chief and then ACC Chief, and Chief Frank Batten was also 9th Air Force and ACC Chief. And then even on the next page, we had Colonel John Eunice, who went on to be the 9th Air Force CE Commander for all of Afghanistan and Iraq. All that, all right. So we have him here, and then General Chad Franks, who became 15th Air Force Commander, and Chief John Storms, who was he was with the Base Defense Group. He went on to be 15th Air Force Chief, then ACC Chief, and now, right now, is the Command Chief at NORAD and NORTHCOM. You know, they protect the United States. NORAD has that job. And here's just an aside that I put in there because we're hearing so much about Iran now. But when the Ayatollah took over, there were 2 former Moody commanders who were the last 2 military people to leave the embassy in Iran. And it was George Cortez and Phil Gast, and they had been here commanding at Moody Air Force Base. So we have a worldwide reach, and you have a worldwide reach. You have a worldwide reach that we don't think about very much. But my privilege has been to see this happen over a great number of years. Of course, I only started when I was 5, you understand? So it's been an honor and a privilege, and I want you to know that what you do is super important for the defense of our country. And remember that we project power from Moody Air Force Base. So think about that now. Who leads?
Tigers lead.
All right, very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I have one more thing I'd like to do. You know, Parker's not with us, but he would be saying these same things to you. And I have gone into his treasure chest, and I want to give each one of you a challenge coin from his collection. And a challenge coin is given in tribute, you know, and you may keep it anywhere you want to, but in the military, we keep it in our pocket because you don't want to be caught without one. True? All right.
You have to
So
buy the
John-
drinks.
John is, don't want to drop it. All right, so you start on that side. May we come up there and give them to you?
Miss Green, if you wouldn't mind remaining at the podium. Remain at the podium. We're about to come to you. One other thing, a handful of those names that you read were Leadership Lounge graduates, by the way, that went through our program during their time here. I just wanted to point that out to the class and back to further inspire them as well. All right, if Tim Carroll would join me at that podium, and then council will be ready to spring out onto your feet there in a second.
Oh, goodness. Oh, my word. Gracious. That's beautiful.
As is this, to help all
That's
hold it.
beautiful, yes, I need help. When I get some.
So you mentioned a lot of God things, John and Tammy, God things that brought us, Dr. Parker, back in the day. They saved that base back in, she was proactive with the current group, and said, we're gonna just stay active. Changed our instead of asking for a mission, we said, keep us relevant. It turned out to be the right message, because aside 2.5 years ago up in the Pentagon, up in DC, and told us that we were getting the F-35A Lightning II. It was way more emotional than it was celebratory for everybody involved. And it was due to the work and the groundwork that they've laid for 50 years. So, Dr. Lucy, we love you. Thank you. You're a treasure. And I think this is where I said spring to your feet for a standing ovation for this beautiful lady.
You're so sweet. Thank you.
I'm gonna lower that,
Thank you, that's okay.
and I got it
Yeah.
complete. Tigers lead.
Thank you. You know, it's gonna be history.
And if I could get the council to the podium so we can take a picture, and obviously now you have a coin.
Now I can, we can give you the coins while you're down
And
here.
I think
All
Ms.
right.
Tooley has something she'd like to add as well.
You have a handful of, John has a handful. You have some coins? Yes, Doc.
I knew you were going to do this presentation. And but they've been flying these things all morning. All morning long. I counted about 10 of them flying out.
Well, we have the sound of freedom. Yes. You hear the, you know, freedom. Always keep that in mind, right? All right, come on. If you turn sideways, you get it. And if you say yes, your eyes will be open. So yes.
Yes.
Yes. Could we get John and Amy? Would you come? We're passing your torch. Y'all are witnessing something.
You can come right in here.
Hour. All right, very good. Thank you very much.
How are you?
I'm gonna let John do this side and I'm gonna do this side.
All
So
right.
Mayor, all right, all right. I pray. Thank you. Did we have enough? Got it.
I got one.
Did our attorney get one?
Oh, he did not.
Good to see you.
Good. All right.
Yeah.
Every year.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank-
Dr. Lucy, you can come anytime you want.
But without you, none of this would happen. Without you, none of this would happen. And that's what I want you to realize. That it's important that we've always done for the city of town, that we acknowledge. And I would never ask
Tigers with you.
Tigers lead.
I'm leaving.
Would you forget?
Thank you.
Yeah. Our Moody missionaries are everywhere in this town. Colonel Tim Hood now runs our airport authority. Colonel Wayans retired here. He now runs the junior ROTC detachment out at Lowndes High School. Command Chief Master Sergeant Justin Gears now runs our Habitat for Humanity effort in this town. It's endless, and we're enriched by it, truly. All right. Hey, Ben O'Dowd, you get to follow that up. We have another award and presentation. Presentation for the Sestella Avenue Bridge update. We figured that this
with the good
project was
news.
worthy. Yeah, thank you.
Well, I just wanted to kind of add, after Miss Lucy presented to my high school class when I was in 10th grade, and it's a presentation that I'll never forget. It was about leadership and thinking of your future, and it's very impactful, and it can't be overstated how much impact her and her husband have had on the community as well as the Moody Support Group. My dad, Colonel O'Dowd, retired from Moody Air Force Base. He was responsible for moving the A-10 mission from Pope Air Force Base down to Moody back in 2007. So he was one of the key staff members that facilitated that. So it's always poignant to remember how much of an impact Moody has on our community. But without further ado, I did want to provide you with an informational update regarding the closure of the Sestella Avenue Bridge. Our staff, if you'll remember, we provided you with a summary update of the situation. We met some weeks ago with a contractor on site to develop a plan or a solution for repair for the bridge. At the time of that investigation, it was a brief meeting. We quickly assessed the condition of the bridge decking and decided that we were going to explore the possibility of reutilizing the bridge decking, effectively removing the bridge decking, staging it to the side, and then either reinstalling or repairing the existing piles or replacing them with steel H piles. Between then and now, we've done some historical investigation on the design standard that was utilized for the bridge originally when it was constructed. It was designed with GDOT standard 3550, which is an H15 load rating, which is designed to sustain loads, live loads up to 15 tons. And so for a variety of reasons, primarily the loading that the bridge sustains in modern times with heavier vehicles, fire apparatus, garbage trucks, student buses, athletic buses from the VSU athletic department. We have different times, different load ratings, different requirements for our public bridges. That in conjunction with some damage that was discovered under a detailed investigation by a structural bridge engineer. The photographs for that investigation are included within the agenda packet. You can see here, this is the damage and the erosion underneath the bridge end caps that we had initially identified. And then if you continue to scroll through, you'll see where the bridge decking is cracked. We've got full depth cracking through the bridge decking. And so our concern is that if we attempt to remove the bridge decking and stage it on site and replace the piles, that the bridge decking will become obviously damaged. It's an aggressive maneuver to lift it and then separate it from one another, separate the bridge decks from one another, and then stage them on site. All that for bridge decking that's effectively under design for the use that it's sustaining on a daily basis. And so we've developed a solution. Unfortunately, the solution that we've developed is substantially more expensive than we initially believed it would be. But our recommended solution is to replace the bridge with a bridge with an H25 load rating with new supporting piles underneath the bridge. I tried to include a ton of pictures so that you can see. I do understand that this is a big deal, massive unforeseen expense, but this is a bridge that sees substantial use, heavy traffic, and there's some pretty substantial damage to the bridge. Not really an item for action, but I did want to kind of open myself up to answer any questions that you might have about the process or where we're at, how we got here. Happy to answer any questions that you have.
Council, any questions on the bridge, Andy?
I do.
Yes, sir.
So I know we're in communication with Valdosta State University, and now that's been shut off as far as the bridge goes.
Yes.
When are we planning on starting? Like, when are we planning on getting this started, and how long do you project that it will take?
The estimated duration of construction from the contractor is 2 months. And that would be starting within, a week or two, once we provide authorization.
Okay.
Um,
So we should be done by graduation, hopefully?
Forgive me, I don't recall when graduation is.
It'd be May.
Should
About
be.
May 1st, somewhere in that ballpark.
I would certainly hope so, yes, sir.
Okay. That was one of the concerns that was brought to my attention, was hoping that it would be done so they wouldn't have to reroute so many vehicles. If not, we need to prepare on how we're going to help
Yeah, definitely.
alleviate
I think that based on, if past performance is any, indicator of future performance, Southern has done an excellent job with projecting timelines conservatively. They beat the timeline that they projected and told us on the Gornto Road Bridge
Right.
whenever they did the repair over there. So I'm hopeful that they'll be able to at least achieve the timeline that they're projecting.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Ben, don't rush it. If they don't have it ready by graduation, we can walk. But what is the funding source for this?
Staff is recommending that we utilize SPLOST and LMIG funds. The funds are there. The intended purpose is for maintenance and sustaining our public infrastructure. But that's staff's recommendation, the city manager. Again, this is emergency repair work under Title 32 authorization, state law. We've been in contact with Al. We wanted to wait to provide authorization to the contractor to commence work until I was able to provide you with this update, so that you could at least know, hey, this is what's going on. This is the course of action that we're pursuing.
You'll actually just come back before us to authorize payment, correct?
Final payment, yes, sir.
Council, any other questions? Ben, great presentation. Good luck. Get them started.
Who leads? Tigers lead. that's
Tigers
right.
lead. All right, we're now going to move on to item 3, ordinances and resolutions. Item A, consideration of an ordinance to amend the pet shop ordinance. This is not a public hearing item, so council, Tim Tanner is going to present.
Yes, sir, Mayor. This item was previously on the agenda in December. If you recall from that meeting, a motion was made. It did not receive a second. So therefore, technically, it did not come before you guys and would not invoke our policy about things that are defeated, not coming back for 6 months. So it can be brought up again. That's procedural. If you have any questions about that, I'll be glad to answer them. As I stated in December, this ordinance is relatively simple. What it does, it prevents the sale of dogs and cats at pet shops in the city. It doesn't prevent the sale of other animals, but it just prevents the sale of dogs and cats. So it encourages animal rescue, adoption events. Those pet shops can host those events, and that's what it's encouraging.
Council, any questions for Tim? Thomas?
That's sale as retail sales.
Retail sales, yes.
Any other questions for Tim? All right, council, it's yours for action.
Mayor, let me try this again. I'd like to make a motion to approve this request as presented.
Second?
A motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I do. I have a question.
Eric?
As I read this ordinance, Mayor, it doesn't address the problem that we're gonna have, that we currently have. This ordinance does nothing about pet ownership. When we have pets, we need to own these pets from the time we get them, sell them, or they die. This doesn't address the issue. What we need to do is work with the county, and we need to find a way to microchip these animals so that if they get lost, we can return them back to the owner. If someone gets evicted, they just can't leave a pet there. We can get them back to the owner. I think this is just putting a Band-Aid saying that we're just doing something. I don't think this addresses the problem that we have. I just think we're just doing something. I'm not for that.
Eric, thank you. Any other comments?
Yes. I just have a question as to what kind of brought this ordinance for us to start this ordinance? Have we had a problem with a lot of our dogs or cats being a problem? Has anybody had much, I mean, have we been getting complaints much on it? Why are we, I guess just presenting this ordinance?
Tim?
Well, I think one of the biggest things, as mentioned within the ordinance itself, is to encourage adoption. We currently have an overflow of dogs and cats in our local shelters, that many of which end up having to be euthanized. And while the county is working to improve the capacity and whatnot of the animal shelter, you gotta find different solutions. And when you put into having somebody that wants a bred dog, such as they want a purebred pit bull or something like that, purebred collies or shelties or whatever, it's not denying people the ability to get those kind of dogs. There are multiple breeders all throughout the region. I personally have owned 6 shelties, and I have 2 breeders that I use to acquire those shelties through, and I get a good quality dog that way. I know exactly how they were born, where they were born, and how they were brought up and prepared. Whereas you don't have that just from any retail store. The other thing is, anyone, and such as what that Councilman Howard brought up, I'm all for other things that we as local governments can do to improve the health and welfare of our dogs and cats and other animals. And there's been a number of suggestions out there, and we certainly can have those brought forward and considered and added at some date in the future to this ordinance or a new ordinance. But this particular one is specifically looking to address the single issue of keeping the focus on adoption of our existing dogs and cats.
Okay, well, that was just one thing I was looking at, because I was also looking at how is that affecting the city? I mean, are we now having to have somebody monitor that? How are we gonna?
Code enforcement and.
Code enforcement.
Yes.
So would they have to be, and I guess you can say they had to be trained for this to know? So,
Yes.
so we're gonna incur a little extras for the city? That's just what I'm just looking at.
I don't think that's a huge expense, to be quite honest.
It probably won't be. It's just, I was just looking at it because I'm saying, my only thing is I just say we just putting the buggy before the horse, and this is just a solution to a prefabricated crisis that's gonna probably pop up. It's gonna be a little problem for the city. But that's just what I was looking at. What are we fixing?
Ms. Dooley, thank you.
How does this
Councilman Hart.
affect, excuse me, how does this affect kennel sales or anybody who has private kennels in our area?
Has nothing to do with kennels.
Okay.
Private kennels.
How does it affect our retail sellers? That's what I'm more concerned with. If we do something like this and it hurts our people who have businesses and adoptions don't go up, we created a problem, another problem.
Well, the good news is that currently I'm not aware of any pet store in Valdosta that sells dogs and cats at retail.
No public comment, please.
There's a store
There is
on
one.
Perimeter. There's a store on Perimeter. I Googled it today. So we do have some shops. And if we don't have any, why are we creating an ordinance? That's what I'm saying. What are we doing?
I think it's self-explanatory.
I don't.
No.
If we don't have a store that's selling it, we don't need it, we don't have a problem. But we do have a store that are selling them, and we need to think about them. And if someone wants to buy a full-bred poodle, they want to buy a full-bred poodle, they're gonna go somewhere else and buy it. That's not gonna encourage them to go adopt something from the shelter. I just think we're doing this a little fast.
Council, any other comments?
Yes, I was also say, have we given our people enough notice about it? That's one thing we talk about, the communication here. About letting everybody know we are going to have an ordinance that we are not going to be allowing that. So we don't want your, people to bring a business here that's going to be selling them. Have we given anybody notice enough? Have we put enough notice out or anything like that?
It's considering that this is the fourth public hearing we've had on this ordinance.
The mayor just said this is not a public hearing. He just said
Public
that
discussion.
it's a public discussion, but we don't have any input from anybody to know, so it's not really letting them know enough.
We first heard this in early November. We've had citizens to be heard. There's been a number of opportunities for citizens on both sides of the issue to contact.
Enough, no public comment.
Thank you, thank you.
Mayor, I'd like to call for the motion.
I
call
have
for
a
the
motion
vote.
and a second. All in favor, show of hands. Motion carries. Thank you, council. Move on to item 4, bids, contracts, agreements, and expenditures. Items 4A through 4E will be heard under a consent agenda without objection from council. Item A, consideration of a bid for a new excavator for the Utilities Department. John Burton, our motor pool superintendent, to present.
The Utilities Department needs a new excavator to help perform their duties. The excavator will be used for digging, lifting, clearing, grading, and other tasks associated with wastewater and freshwater utility management. Sealed bids were received on December 2nd, 2025, and I recommend the council approve the bid meeting specifications submitted by Yancey Brothers in the amount of $247,000.
Awesome. Any questions on that item, council? Okay. Item B, consideration of bids for a 1/2-ton regular cab 4x4.
Stormwater Division of the Engineering Department needs to purchase a 1/2-ton regular cab 4x4 truck. The new vehicle will replace a 168,000-mile, 10-year-old truck. Sealed bids were received on December 2nd, and I recommend that council approve the low bid submitted by Phil Brennan Ford in the amount of $43,292.72.
Okay. Council, any questions on that item? None. Item C, consideration of bids for a dump truck. John?
The Utilities Department needs to purchase a new dump truck for use at the Mud Creek Wastewater Treatment Plant. The new vehicle will replace a 31-year-old dump truck. Sealed bids were received on December 2nd. I recommend that council approve low bid submitted by Hardy Family Ford in the amount of $95,254.58.
Council, any questions on that item? All right. Item D, consideration of bids for a 1/2-ton regular cab truck.
The Signs Division of the Engineering Department needs to purchase a 1/2-ton truck. The new vehicle will replace a 165,000-mile, 10-year-old truck. Sealed bids were received on December 2nd. I recommend that council approve the low bid submitted by Livonia Ford in the amount of $37,410.
Council, any questions on that item? And John, final
Public
item
Work-
E? Go ahead.
The Public Works Department needs to purchase a 1-ton crew cab truck. This truck will be used to transport crews and tow trailers throughout the city. The new vehicle will replace a 21-year-old truck. Sealed bids were received on December 2nd. I recommend that council approve low bid meeting specifications submitted by Bill Brennan Ford in the amount of $48,371.72.
Any further questions, council, on any of the items? All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve items 4A through 4E.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the items stated.
Motion and a second. All in favor, show of hands. Council, thank you. John, thank you. Move on to item F, consideration of a request to approve 2 utility easements and an underground distribution construction agreement with Georgia Power. Jason Barnes, our utilities director, will present.
And current Leadership Lounge class member.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
As you know, the city of Valdosta is currently in the process of constructing a new water treatment plant located at 3260 Madison Highway. New electrical services are required for this project, so Georgia Power is requesting that the city of Valdosta dedicate electrical power easements for the installation of the new electrical service line to serve the water treatment plant number 2, and also the underground distribution construction agreement. So the staff recommends to approve both the utility easements agreement with Georgia Power and the underground distribution construction agreement for the new water treatment plant 2. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Council, any questions for Jason? None. Jason, thank you.
Thank you.
Council, yours for action.
Mayor, make a motion to approve the request as presented.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, show of hands. Council, thank you. Jason, thank you. Move on to Line 5, local funding and request. Item A, consideration of a request from Loomis Fiber to register with the city of Valdosta in order to provide telecommunications services. Ben O'Dowd returns to the microphone.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
As stated within the agenda item, this is a presentation of Lumos Fiber's application for registration as a telecommunications franchisee within the city of Valdosta. Lumos Fiber has registered with the state of Georgia as a telecommunications franchisee, and they are seeking registration with the city of Valdosta. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions for Ben?
I do.
Thomas? Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I thought you looked at me. I'm sorry. Mayor, go ahead.
The last fiber company we had come in, we had some issues. Some things were left above ground. When they did bury some things, they didn't cover them back up properly. They would dig trenches and leave them for a couple of days. Have we done a lessons learned from the last fiber company?
Forgive me, what fiber company are you referring to?
Windstream. Windstream.
I think he's
Windstream and,
probably talking about Hargrave.
Windstream's the one that came down North Oak Street.
Hargrave.
Apologize.
Clearwave.
And over in
Clearwave.
Clearwater.
Clearwater.
Clearwave.
Clearwave, yeah.
Yeah, so we have cracked down on telecommunications franchisees, specifically with edge-out permits and large permits. So historically, most of the telecommunications franchisees have done edge-outs or small expansions. In my time here, I had not experienced, none of the staff here had experienced inspecting on or permitting a large build-out and dictating within the actual right-of-way encroachment permit for terms for cover-up, timeline, requirements for repair to any damage to private property that should occur, though none should occur because they're required to occupy the city right-of-way, which is public property. So outside of a specific, I know that we had some issues recently with Windstream, with operating under previously administered permits that were provided many years in advance of the actual work occurring, which took both citizens and city staff by surprise, and so we kind of had to pump the brakes and request their permit, and then they provided it. We discovered that it was multiple years old. So it's a constant learning experience, but I hope I answered your question.
Yes, I'd just like some of these lessons learned in the next contract.
This is not a contract. So the city of Valdosta is obligated to permit Lumos Fiber to occupy its right-of-way, given that they've registered with the state of Georgia, and they're operating under the state of Georgia's franchise agreement. So historically, in the past, cities and other municipalities' right-of-way owners would administer their own franchise agreements with telecommunications franchisees. State law was modified, I believe, in 2008 to allow for telecommunications franchisees to register with the state of Georgia under the state franchise agreement, which is different in the way that it's applied and administered.
So how do we hold them accountable to not repeat some of the same things that happened in the past?
They're required to obtain a right-of-way permit. So the city of Valdosta and the engineering department as a right-of-way manager functions as effectively a steering committee. So as long as we have room within the right-of-way for them to occupy, we are required to allow them to occupy the right-of-way. But we can require them to do certain things like, make sure that they stabilize the work area after they're done. There's some guidance within state law on what we can and what we cannot require them to do. But yeah.
Okay.
So they obtain a permit from us, we inspect on the permit, and we ensure compliance with the terms of the permit, my inspectors.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Have we received a map or a layout of where they're gonna put these in at? They're gonna install them?
If you'll email me, I would be happy to put you in touch with the folks at Lumos Fiber. I believe one of the representatives is in the audience
Well, they're
tonight.
supposed to provide it to us.
They're supposed to provide.
Yes.
So they've provided the map.
Right,
PDF
of
map.
where everything's gonna be going. They're supposed to provide it to us, so citizens can be aware of where these things are gonna be going.
So state law prevents us from requiring a build-out schedule or a map. And I'm happy to defer to the city attorney on this front. We cannot require them to build out within certain locations within the city of Valdosta or within certain timeframes. But again, Lumos Fiber has provided a map. I'm happy to provide that as information to you for informational
And
purposes.
advance notice if it's a neighborhood they're heading into, advance notice.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
I mean-
part of the maybe you're referring to the permitting process.
No, I'm referring to the, OCGA 46-5, Part B, where it says in subsection D, a description of the telephone company's service area, which description shall be sufficiently detailed so as to follow municipal authority to respond to subscriber inquiries for the purpose of this, written description, or provide a map on 8.5 by 11 inch sheet of paper, basically to give to us so we can have a clear and understanding, legible and favorable depicts of the service area within the boundaries of the municipal authority.
Yeah, so that's subject to change, as you're, I'm sure, aware. I mean, telecommunications franchisees may stipulate that they're going to install fiber in one location.
Right. I mean, 'cause
Gen-
we woke up on North Oak Street and there's people digging up our yards, moving stuff in there and putting 3-foot plastic looking AT&T boxes in the front yards of people's instead of at the corners or at the light poles or whatever. And then at y'all's, you know, you and Richard responded to that email and said you can call Cheyenne, which is a guy that oversaw that, which then he got in touch with me with Byron Farmer, who then got in touch with Miguel, who puts it in, and said, Mr. Gibbs, all they had to do is just request that we put these at the light poles, and we would have done it. All they had to do was request that if they wanted them all in the ground, we could have done it in the ground, just like this person in this group did. Now, it would cost us another $300 or $400.
Yeah.
This is a cheaper method, but had they asked us, we could have done it.
Yeah, if you'll read the OCGA chapter, you'll see, sir, that I cannot require telecommunications franchisees to install anything in the
Well, I
ground
get
that's
that. I
it's
just wanna
more
s-
stringent than what the Department of Transportation requires them to do.
Well, can we at least request that they don't just put it in the middle of somebody's yard?
Certainly, yes.
Which is what they did on Oak Street with 5 different residents?
We wanted to just look.
I mean, I just want to look uniform. I mean, I'm not trying to say we don't need fiber. I mean, I want fiber. That's fantastic. But
Yeah.
what I mean is, according to Miguel, who I spoke to, who came out to the house and we looked at everything, he said, Mr. Gibbs, if I knew that this is where y'all would like them at, I could have told my group that came through, hey, make sure that wire pops up in this area so we can put this attachment, which is why they started putting them behind the light poles. So therefore, it was in line. It didn't look like a sore thumb sticking out. So all I'm asking is that we, kind of like what Councilman McIntyre is saying, is that we just communicate to them, I want you in here, but just make it uniform looking, aesthetic. Think about if you lived in that house, what would you like to look at when you woke up every morning?
Yes, sir.
That's it.
Again,
That's all.
I-
But no, I want them. I'm just-
I can't, again, this is,
I'm speaking out because I know he's in the audience.
yeah.
Mr.
Understood.
Dan,
Ma'am.
also, it was a lot of senior citizens, great presentation, I'm not knocking your presentation, but it was quite a few senior citizens that had the same problem, that they was afraid to walk outside in their yards because they might fall and hurt themselves. And do they sue the city or do they sue this company that's gonna be putting these
Company,
So,
not us.
fiber down? Because it was a problem.
like with, are you talking about utility, like
Yeah, I'm talking
pull
about the
boxes with lids that are missing?
No, I'm talking about the fiber that was put down.
Talking about the ditches that they dug
Yeah.
prior.
Okay. Well, it sounds like there's a lot of discussion that might need to occur about, because full transparency, I have a staff of 3 people. One of those people is out right now. I'll get, I believe this particular company wants to install 370 miles of fiber. Maybe wrong. That's an incredibly substantial build out. This is one company of many others. So as a right-of-way manager, I don't have necessarily time and staff to do maybe the detailed review that it sounds like maybe you'd like.
No, I just
For the
want to make,
plans?
I just really just want to make sure that whenever they install it, and he's back there smiling and not, I mean, because he's giving me a thumbs
Yeah.
up, is that they just aesthetically, they just keep in mind that, hey, when we leave this spot, it's going to look nice and uniform. We're going to throw some grass on or whatever. We're going to make sure we kind of leave it the way we found it and not just mow through and then be done with it. And
Yeah.
that's all I'm asking for is that. And that's what Miguel had initially, when they came through, he said, if we had knew that, we could have done that from the beginning. So that's why I was just saying out loud, is so that he'll
Yeah.
know that we want 371 miles worth of fiber to
Yeah.
come through.
No, I
I just want it
understand.
to look good.
Right. Well, looking good, you know, from point A to point B, going from submission as a franchisee to looking good, looks like me spending, or one of my staff members spending, you know, possibly hours reviewing these plan sets to make sure that things are.
I got faith in him.
Okay, all right.
Any other questions for Ben,
Yeah.
council?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the request as presented.
Second?
I got a motion and a second. All in favor, show of hands.
Show of hands.
Council, thank you. Loomis, good luck.
Good job, Ben.
Item B, consideration of a request to approve the replacement of equipment at the Gornto and the Reamer Master Lift Stations. Jason Barnes coming back up. I hope your Leadership Lounge classmates are impressed with your presentations.
You have to do that, Mayor. So, built in 2016, the twin master lift stations known as Garnto and Reamer were installed with voltage reduced soft starts. These are powering 385 horsepower pumps. So the first 4 VFDs were installed. I brought back to you in February of last year for your approval for, these are the last 4 that will be taken for Garnto and Reamer. These 385 horsepower flight pumps start and stop around 4 to 6 times an hour, depending on the flow. So and it's causing hammer, so what this is gonna do is these frequency drives, variable frequency drives, are gonna increase the run time of the pumps by slowing them down and allowing us to adjust the speed of the pump. So instead of it just going full blast, we'll be able to slow that down. So that's will move our stop times from 4 to 6 an hour to once a week under normal conditions. So that's what we're hoping for. These were the last 4 was put in a couple months ago when I brought this to you in February, and these are the last 4. This is Rockwell Automation as the sole source provider has submitted a proposal in the amount of $261,500 to remove 4 of the existing 8 soft starts, 2 at Garnto and 2 at Reamer, and install the 4 PowerFlex 755 drives in their place, as well as supporting the systems to get them operational. I will say Rockwell Automation will provide a warranty for this product, which will be 18 months from delivery or 12 months from startup. So the staff recommends, or before I say that, Mr. Reese, will you go down to the chart to the last page? So you will see in December the 9th through January, I believe that's the 5th, you can see how the flow before we put the VFDs in, how much you can say they were up and down on the levels. And what this is doing, this is the flow monitor that's going to the Withlacoochee plant from Garnto and Reamer pump lift stations. So you can see over time, it starts getting a little bit less. So what we are anticipating now, once we get these last 4 upon your approval, it will go even tighter than that. So instead of just up and down, we'll be able to slow that constant. It will help with the pipeline going to Withlacoochee plant. So staff recommends to approve the proposal submitted by Rockwell Automation in amount of $261,500 to replace 4 of the existing 8 soft starts at Garnto and Reamer. And I will say we're actually saving almost $40,000 on budget. It was $300,000. This is coming out of user fees, so we're almost saving almost $40,000. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Council, you want one? Jason, thank you.
Thank you.
Council, yours for action.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Thank you, Jason. Again, thank you. Ms. Cody, he even put your warranty in there for you. All right, we'll move on to item 6, citizens to be heard. The portion of the meeting that we ask you to come forward, state your name and address so we can have it for the record. Our policy requires you stay under 3 minutes so that all have time to be heard. Please direct all comments to council as a whole. Do not attempt to engage individual members of council in debate. It is our policy to follow through with your concerns almost immediately. Additionally, we ask that any groups that want to address the council designate one spokesperson to represent the groups and their comments. That will ensure that all have time to be heard. We do not also entertain citizen comments on agenda items of the night. Just thought I'd point that out. Having said that, are there any citizens wishing to come forward at this time?
Yes.
Your name, address?
Hi, my name is Ashley Brinkman, and I live in Tyler, Texas. I don't live in Valdosta. I'm here from the Pet Advocacy Network, and we represent responsible pet businesses all across the country. And I'm here to express strong opposition to the pet ordinance that y'all discussed earlier today.
I cannot let you discuss that. We'll discuss it with you.
You just said that we could discuss
I didn't.
agenda items from today
I
as
said
well.
we cannot discuss agenda
Okay,
items from
then I will
today.
discuss
And you can
how
discuss that with with any of
ordinances-
the council members after the meeting. They're gonna come
Okay.
to you to discuss any kind of modification you might want in the future.
Sure. So
But
no
thank-
public opportunity was provided to
right.
comment on all
Thank you.
4 of the opportunities that
Please
were
sit
brought
down.
forth to discuss this issue.
Please sit down.
So
Thank you.
when would be a good time?
Immediately
to
after the
discuss
meeting,
it?
we're coming to you, so please sit down.
Okay.
Thank you.
But I would
Now,
like,
please.
okay.
Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time?
John Robinson of 3227 Sanjuline Circle Lake Park. I've been here many times before. We've talked about partnership, and I have some documents here if I can pass them out to you guys if you don't mind. We propose to bring $125 million to the table with this proposal, this proposition. And I want to ask to be placed on the agenda to make a presentation for 15 minutes, if we could, on one of your work agendas. Be able to explain what I have here in my hand. I want to pass these out to the board members if you don't mind. The nonprofit organization that we represent is called Advantageous. It's one that we own, and it's a 501c3 organization. And we want to make the proposal. We have previously discussed that we want to formulate some form of partnership and with the city, and we have found the supporters on there at the bottom side is the one that are supporting our group, and we look to bring, I was told by the banker, it's one of the 3rd largest bankers in the country, that they would be willing to entertain the $125 million toward helping the city for revitalization. Thank you.
John, thank you. Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time? Hello.
Amanda Hall Phillips, and do you need my address? We're
Yeah,
good.
please.
2102 North Sherwood Drive. I so agree with you, Councilman Howard. The city really needs a updated animal control policy ordinance altogether. I just wanted to point out, the current ordinance says that we're supposed to pay $3 for a pet license, and I know that's not enforced. Also, the Animal Control Board no longer exists, because as a veterinarian, I used to serve on it. That is handled by the court system now. And I also wanted to share that I recently returned from South America, where I served in a 3rd world country, volunteering as a veterinarian, providing free services. And this community that I served in had a lot of problems, but one problem they didn't have was pet overpopulation. And the way they solved it, every dog and cat was microchipped. and every dog and cat was spayed and neutered. And if they were not, the fine was $600. These people did not make $600 in a month. There was no population problem. So I'm happy to roll up my sleeves and help the city. I know that the county is getting ready to take on revising their ordinance, but the pet overpopulation problem in this community has gone on for way too long. And if a poor community in South America can solve the problem, I know Lowndes County and Valdosta can do the same. Thank you.
Amanda, thank you. Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time? Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. I haven't been here in a while. It's good to see you all. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I'm representing Lowndes Citizens Against Data Centers. I believe you had a friend of mine who made a presentation here at the last city council meeting. And it's very important that we in the community, both city and county, take a closer look at what is going on in our state in regard to development of data centers. We created a flyer for this purpose, which highlights the major issues that are connected with data centers, as we are apparently about to consider a data center to be constructed in Western Lowndes County, and we will have that same conversation, of course, also with the Lowndes County Board of Commissioners. The 4 issues that are listed on here is basically an enormous amount of water that's being utilized by data centers. An average data center may use 300,000 gallons of water a day. There's also the issue of electricity demands. The electricity demands of data centers are enormous, and they can, depending on the size, have easily the consumption of about 100,000 homes. Then there also, of course, is the issue of noise pollution, but also air as well as light pollution. And then there's, of course, also the promises of jobs and economic improvements, which actually never come true. It's really important to note at this point, and I do know that I don't have as much time, that because of the realities that communities throughout Georgia have finally understood that there are at least 6 counties by now in the state of Georgia which actually decided to push a pause button, to say we need to rethink this, we need to carefully look at this because of all the different kinds of issues we weren't aware about, because it always sounds very attractive to make money. Of course, we all want to make money, but we want to do this in such a fashion that it's sustainable, that it ultimately doesn't hurt ourselves in the long run when it comes to such things as declining real estate values, when it comes to a way of life, to live in Foxborough, say, and have to deal with noise pollution, all of this. There's a lot of things connected with that. The 6 counties at this point that have actually decided to push the pause button by declaring a moratorium on the construction of data centers are Covina County, Douglas County, Clark County, Roswell County, and DeKalb County, and as of last week, also Thomas County. So I encourage you to take a closer look at this. We will be approaching you again in the coming weeks and months. We have been doing this for a while, so it's really important that we all learn about it. I'm still in a learning process myself. At some point in the middle of February, we'll be offering some sort of like a panel, possibly at VSU, where we'll have a number of experts who will talk with you and all of us about the issue of data centers, and all the questions that need to be answered before we truly get involved or invested in this. And we all, city and county, need to work on this together, because we will make a big mistake if we just blindly embrace them. That's all for tonight. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much.
I got the ringer.
Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time?
Yes, good evening, Mayor, council members, and community members that are here with us and those that are viewing online. My name is Maria Chung Willoughby. I am founder of The Art of Good, and as a self-development engineer, I specialize in identifying the human architecture that makes or breaks our public systems. And I'm here to provide a formal follow-up to my ongoing regional infrastructure and security audit. I did hand that out to you last meeting. And while typical audits look at physical bridges or digital firewalls, my report focuses on systemic vulnerabilities within our social infrastructure. And my latest findings indicate a critical gap between our city's policy goals and the actual social dynamics on the street. I am returning to this floor because these aren't just social issues, they are security risks. A community that cannot communicate internally is a community that cannot respond effectively to a crisis. My goal today is to move from audit to action. And I'll begin with a success. So since my May 2025 report, the live stream audio has improved tremendously. And technical excellence does drive transparency, so those constituents at home can view, and I acknowledge the staff for that progress. However, critical items from our previous report remain unaddressed, and I'm here today because I have submitted multiple safety-related items over the past year and have not received confirmation of action on any of them. And my concerns are not theoretical. They affect real people in our most vulnerable communities. And this includes the need for updated security cameras at the Department of Labor to protect constituents in federal spaces, and an accountability audit for the personnel, specifically Ms. Yvette Hill, regarding the misuse of chemicals around guests and abusive behavior. And furthermore, warming shelters are utilizing sign-in sheets that are unmanned or manned by unvetted individuals, exposing personally identifiable information. Exposing PII is a safety risk, especially for women. And after providing my email for the public record, I received a retaliatory, inappropriate image. This participation tax is compounded by leadership who expressed discrimination regarding transit status, specifically targeting those who utilize pedestrian travel. We cannot claim to be an open government if the cost of speaking is the compromise of our safety. And regarding accountability, my audit of a local recovery chapter documented a pattern of dismissiveness and coordinated deception, including the use of fraudulent phone numbers for a tattoo parlor to obstruct safety. And because the local action was stalled, the Art of Good has taken initiative, and we delivered a Unity boxes to replace assets lost to theft. My time is almost up, but I will communicate by email, and please respond back. This is our community, our beautiful Valdosta. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time? Seeing none, we'll close out this portion of the meeting and move on to the city manager's report. Al Crace, our interim city manager.
Yes, sir. Thank you. First of all, with regards to the city sanitation service and the first clumsy attempt at some changes, we're in a period now that from January and February, we need to get our internal systems working accurately and be tested to be sure that, so in January and February, the trucks, cameras, and software will all be being installed. It's for the training and also the testing to be sure that it's working as expected. The second is there's significant issues for the billing and the software revisions so that we can properly bill that accurately on the utility bill. There are some software changes that have to be made, and before we plan to release that, we want to get it finished and then also run some tests to be sure that things. Before we can leave that particular phase, we want to be sure all this is accurate and working as expected. So as we step forward, we've got our house in order. Then in March and April, we'll prepare for the next steps. We've got our trash can, the city trash can is the cash register for the solid waste and sanitation service. And we have these other cans that the city at one time allowed or encouraged other people to buy and use. We need to get to a uniform can system. That's a matter we're going to have a thorough discussion with the city council and give you some options, and you all help us pick those out. And then we need to have a letter sent to all the citizens about what we're going to do and what's the time frame. And that's where we are at this point as we prepare for the next steps. But we want to get our own house in order first. And that's, hopefully we can get that done by the 1st of March. But subject to, if we can meet our test, we'll be there. If not, we'll stay in fixing our system first, then we'll step on out into the other issues. The short-term rentals, there's been a good bit of discussion about it. What we've done is working with the planning department, we've gone through and tried to collect other good models of what to do and take it apart in piece by piece. And once we get that finished, where we create, I don't know, whether it's 15, 25, 30 options. We would like to then hold, possibly in February and March, some public workshops. One we hope will be sufficient, but if not, we'll do some more, where we invite the neighbors that are affected and have strong feelings, and also owners of the property to all sit with us, and we go through the options, and that they understand we've got to sort out those, we think are viable options, and the balance. Then, once we get that sifted through and that the attorney has the chance to examine that to make sure that we're on good legal grounds, then we'll try to bring you all to a work session or a series of work sessions individually where we give you the options and let you start thinking about the components you'd like to put into the ordinance. Because it's not a matter of we're going to just allow the department to continue in an unregulated manner as they are today, and that the neighbors, we can't give them where we just absolutely prohibit it. It's got to find a balance of how they work together and exist, and there's got to be an ordinance that does that and an enforcement mechanism. So that's what we're trying to put together now, but I think we need to tell the public where we are in that process. When we get to that, hopefully get that done in January and early February, then we can schedule the beginning of community workshops, these public workshops, in February and March, and start the process to build the legislation that would be acceptable. And we'd rather do it right and take the time to do it carefully rather than hastily get it out there and then try to repair it on the floor. This is not the place to do that. We need to get it properly written and balanced for what you all want to do. The third is, I'd like to announce that we had applied for a One Georgia grant for repairs from the storm and that sort of thing, and we were announced today that that was awarded at $2 million to us by the DCA. And we've got a few other administrative issues to take care of, but we've got a good plan to move forward. So that money will move forward, and we can use that grant. A couple of the community events. The second annual Black History Month Parade is scheduled for Saturday, February the 7th. The Southern Georgia Black Chamber is the prime sponsor. They plan a parade that begins at the Pine Vale Elementary School. It would kick off at about 12 noon and travel to the M.L. King Monument, and there they plan to have a celebration and food trucks and a series of things to celebrate that event. The annual Bird Supper is scheduled for the city of Valdosta and Lowndes County for Wednesday, February the 11th at 5:30. It'll be at the near the state capitol at the Georgia Railroad Depot in Atlanta. Tickets are available for $50 each if you go to the Lowndes County Judicial Administrative Complex just across the street. That's where they can be purchased. And tickets can be purchased anytime during the month of January, but ticket sales close Friday, January the 30th. Also want to remind everybody, save the date. The city of Valdosta invites the community to attend the 4th annual Bluesberry Festival. That'll be on Friday and Saturday, April 10th and 11th at Unity Park. Additional details will be available as we get closer to that date. Thank you. Any questions?
Fantastic. Council, we'll move on to council comments. Council, any comments? Tom, start down there with you. Eric? Sam?
Mayor, I think we need to look at that, go back and look at that tiny house ordinance or start working on one, because that's something that our community needs and other communities are doing it, and I just don't want people to go out and start doing stuff and end up costing them money. So I think we need to present one for us to vote on.
Thank you. Sandra?
I'm gonna, I do have a comment. First, I did have something else I wanted to say, but I just gotta say, I am a little bit upset with the actions for the night. First of all, let me just ask this question. If the council, how soon can the repeal be made of an ordinance once the council has made a decision? How soon can we repeal it?
Repeal it?
Yes,
I think you could repeal it at any time.
at any time. Okay.
Modified
See what
or
now?
modified.
Or
in way-
modified.
yeah.
Okay, that's just the one question. And I just got to say to,
Can I explain, in the difference where you say, well, if you deny something, you can't come up, but that was, you could modify it because it was successfully passed.
Okay.
You said that,
but it can be repealed.
yes.
Thank you very much, and we can do it as soon as possible. And my other thing is, I just got to say, you know, we have citizens, we have people. Valdosta has a slogan, "The city without limits." And I can undersee, I mean, we want people to come here. We want businesses. We want to have we want to thrive. When you clutch and cut things off like that, people, how are we going to get businesses in when you prevent them from doing things? Limits, limits, limits. I hear it every month from business people, from a lot of people coming. The city without limits has so many limits. We need to change that slogan, and I think we do. And tonight I saw that we demonstrated, yes, we do. You need to change it because y'all don't want to open up. You don't want to open your minds up. You don't want to grow. You have to try things. And as our attorney said, we can modify it if it don't work. But to cut something off and stop it before it can even get started, I think that's wrong. And the second thing, the way the Citizens to be Heard segment was done, I will apologize to you because I did hear the mayor say, do not speak on any item we spoke on the agenda tonight, and he did stop one of our citizens. And another citizen came up and spoke on it, and I did not hear the mayor say anything against it. I think that was inappropriate. I mean, I guess you have his reason for it. We'll find it, but that was inappropriate. I apologize. That's not what we all represent. Some of us up here may represent that. I don't represent that. And freedom of speech, nobody's gonna stop my first constitutional amendment. Oh, no, that's just not right. I'm gonna apologize to you for it because it was wrong. And sometime when you do something wrong, you need to nip it in the bud and say something about it. And that's what I'm doing tonight. That was wrong. That was inappropriate, and that is not the representation of the full council up here. Not of this one anyway. I had to say it.
Andy?
I don't have anything to say, Mayor.
Council? Yes,
I do agree with Councilwoman Tooley as well. I was going to speak on that. While I do agree with Amanda, with Doctor, I do definitely agree with some of the mechanisms that need to be put in place. I believe that we need to be fair because she definitely spoke on the same thing. So if we're going to, we cannot pick and choose who we want to listen to, and because that's the same subject. So let's be fair going forward. I want to apologize as well.
Any other comments? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you, council.
That could do about that.
Very good, very good.
Thank you, guys.
The newspaper in the world gonna hear
Well,
right
you
here.
get home and see about that.
I am. I'm heading straight there.
Right. I'll be around tomorrow. Take care of first things first.
Thank you. I hope to see you by 10.
So it's not, it's only if it's effective 10 days from tonight, so that's, our shorter says only for 10 days effective, so, technically it hadn't been approved yet, so.
We ain't gonna talk about it here, because we don't want to talk